You can spot me in the city building lobby with a sword off shot. He's screaming, drop it, this a robbery.
What's up, my people? This is ShowBizz, the adult. EA Sports, you know what this video about. We want a new Fight Night video game for the new gen. Fight Night Champion 2. We want that game. We want that game. We want that game as bad as my white brothers and sisters want this to come back.
Black and white, the living color.
That's how bad we want that game. We want that game so bad we play UFC and just stand and strike. Look, I'm not going to claim to know why you haven't made a Fight Night Champion video game yet. I've heard many things. There's too many resources for the UFC game. It's too expensive to get the likeness of each boxer because boxing isn't sanctioned. I'm not going to claim to be an expert, but this is a boxing channel. And what we're going to discuss is what we would like to see in a new Fight Night Champion video game. So all of you, anybody who played Fight Night Champion from before, there's a few things that was going on in there that we really didn't like. The right hand straight spamming, people just throw it. What I like in a video game is I want it to look as realistic as possible. If I'm playing Mario Kart, please make it look arcade. But if I'm playing a 2K basketball game, or if I'm playing a football game, or if I'm playing a boxing game, I want it to look like a real life simulation. When I saw fights online and people just throwing the right hand like this because it does the most damage or has the most points at the end, I hated that. Look, if you make a new Fight Night video game, have a stamina meter for each arm or each punch. Make sure that that's straight right, maybe get weaker and weaker if you throw it over and over again, or maybe they get more exhausted. Whatever you do, or just don't make the straight right that devastating. And don't give someone the incentive to do any one thing too much. Speaking of doing one thing too much, remember the sidestep and spam? That was ridiculous. I had to be a genius to work around the straight right spam. I had to be a genius to work around the sidestep uppercut. That stuff was so darn annoying, dog. EA, if you cannot afford the license, work around having the license for each boxer to make it in their likeness. Here's a workaround. As soon as we hit start on the game, we have to create our own boxer. Pick the weight class, his style and stuff like that. You put them together and then he goes straight online with other people who created their boxers. As you win, you gain the ability to get points. So you put your points on your boxer, but you can't make a juggernaut. You have 100 everything. With a loss, you lose some points. Make it a grind, right? We don't need the boxers either. That's a good workaround. I do have faith in you, EA. The UFC game has gotten better and better, especially with the striking and the stamina and the block meter. You know, soft points of the face, the chin, you know, how to knock somebody out. You can implement those things right with the boxing game. And that boxing game will be your most popular game that you have. Especially with the scarcity, especially with the demand and the fact that we've been thirsting for a boxing video game for, 6 years. If you put some of those resources right into a boxing game just for a minute. If you don't want to create a new video game, Fight Night Champion 2, if you don't want to make a new Fight Night Champion 2, re-release Fight Night Champion for the new console. We'll be fine. But as you guys figure out what you want to do, compare those numbers with the brand new UFC game. If those numbers are higher than a brand new UFC game, it'll be worth your while to put those resources into the boxing game. Just re-release Fight Night Champion, do your little statistical report, do your comparisons, and see if it's worthwhile. But what we want more than anything in the world, is a brand new Fight Night Champion 2. This is ShowBizz the Adult. I'm out.
Spot me in the city building lobby with a sword off shot. He's screaming, drop it, this a robbery.